All right, here we go. Salute to Knicks Nation on this Tuesday, post-Labor Day afternoon. CP the franchise back in the building, and happy to be back on with you guys, man. Back from a extended vacation and ready to go, because in just about 30 days, the Orange and Blue will be kicking off the 25-26 campaign, and a championship caliber expectations abound, man. So we are getting right into it. The new season is here. Salute to everybody in the chat. Hit that thumbs up button for your boys. And yeah, man, great to be back, man. Let's get right to it. All right, man. Salute to the family. Salute to my franchise channel members. Everybody in the chat. Hang on, man. Let me make sure I establish protocol first. Make sure I get us up on Facebook. And then I got to establish protocol. Gamba, I see you in the chat, man. Salute to you. All right, let's see who we got. Daniel Bosajor, Stevie Nicks, Mustafa, Tri-State, let's go. Aggravated, this is my favorite time of year. Well, aggravated, you're always aggravated, man. So I can never tell. But since you're here, I do know that that you know, this is your show here, man. Gatsu, how you feeling, man? Good to be back. Junior Karoma, we live and direct, man. Live show. Omar, salute. Yeah, good to be back, man. Spent some good time with the family, man. I was in Jamaica last week. You know, came back, and when you take the time off, like even when I'm away and stuff like that, I'm still keeping tabs, obviously. We got to figure out who's getting the last roster spot, see what the workout videos are looking like, who's putting in work. You know, you still keep tabs. But it comes a point where it's like it gets close, man. When you get to that Labor Day mark, then the juices start flowing, man. Now I'm going crazy. Now I'm getting the itch. Yeah, I'm fiending for content. Somebody in the chat said that. Now I'm like, I'm ready to get back. We got a month before the preseason training camp starting up, and a big season ahead. So very much looking forward to it. You guys can be ready for a lot of announcements coming up as we kick off the new season. Lots of stuff going on with KnicksFanTV. So make sure you guys are tapping in, signing up for the newsletters, so on and so forth, so that you don't miss anything. All right, so one thing we didn't miss was who's getting that last and final roster spot. Almost a month away from kicking things off, and the Knicks still have not signed a vet to that last vet minimum deal, and also they have not signed anyone to the rookie exception. So we'll have to see where they go there. This was an article by our guy James Edwards, our guy Trilogy. His one of his recent athletic articles, and he talked about some options here. So we'll go through the options, and then I'm going to give you my top five. Hopefully, well, I'll get your top five. But these were some of the options that Trilogy laid out here. You know, the Malik Beasley play is still interesting, because when we last spoke, Malik Beasley had been, now people were throwing the word cleared around, and that's not necessarily the case. We thought he was clear totally from the gambling investigation by the Southern District of New York, or the Eastern District of New York, rather. But this was an excerpt from a front office sports article where the writer says that the Department of Justice defines target as a person to whom the prosecutor has substantial evidence against. He's no longer a target, but he's still being considered a subject of the investigation. The Department of Justice defines subject as a person whose conduct is within the scope of the grand jury's investigation, which means Beasley could still be charged with a crime, something his lawyers acknowledge. So he's not necessarily out of the woods just yet. But nevertheless, I would still be interested in a Malik Beasley acquisition. Now, the question is, obviously, will he go back to Detroit? Will he go somewhere else? Will he go? Some people throwing out the Rockets. I think that would be an interesting move. I'm not even going to hate on that. I think that would definitely be an interesting move. But, hey, as we've known, the Knicks have kicked the tires on him. We have the Gerson Rosas connection there from Minnesota. Gerson Rosas has wanted to bring Malik Beasley here for quite some time. Do the Pistons even want to bring him back? Because they got Duncan Robinson from the Heat, and then they also got Karis LeVert. So do they even want him back? They got Jaden Ivey getting back into the mix. So there's a lot of question marks with the Beasley thing. Hey, if the Knicks can get lucky, though, I do think this is a guy that can help put them over the top. It's worth the risk, and it's, like I said, it's worth a gamble. Even if the fit with Deuce and Clarkson is not ideal, like he's not exactly complimentary to those guys, having one of the best three-point shooters in the league can obviously help this team. We were talking all last year about the absence of Dante and what that meant for the Knicks. We missed Dante. We need a flamethrower. We need some more firepower from three. Antics aside, Malik Beasley fits the bill. But again, we'll see. But I think I still find it interesting that he has not been signed yet. So, I think that one's interesting. But nevertheless, Trilogy has Malik Beasley on the docket as a candidate, and I think he should be. And the fact that he's still out there, he definitely should be. Landry Shamet, ladies and gentlemen. Where is Landry Shamet at these days? I think someone had pulled him up. He was last at the U.S. Open. So Shamet's out and about. He's just hooping and catching tennis. But Shamet is without question a guy that I would like to see back here. And when I get into my top five, I'll let you know where he's at in my top five. But, when it comes to the familiarity with the locker room and the fact that he really turned it on late in the season, man. I mean, he had a true shooting percentage of like 69% in April once he started getting burned. His three-point percentage was hot. Shamet was hot. He finished the year very well. And, Tibbs' stubbornness, he never got much playing time in the Pistons series. And then once he started playing in the Pacers series, he started playing fairly well. He didn't really get much burn in the Celtics series either. And but he's a guy that can help. And again, even though it's still a little tricky with Deuce and Clarkson, I just look at Shamet as a safe depth play. I look at Shamet as a safe depth play. So, and I think the Knicks know that. And clearly, he's not their top choice. Maybe they're just waiting to see what happens with Beasley and see what else is out there. But not a bad option to have. I would definitely go with Shamet and try to get him back in here. How about my guy, Delon Wright? Delon Wright is still out there. What do you guys think? Delon Wright was acquired by the Knicks in the Jericho Sims trade. And then, he got some burn when Tibbs started putting him in. I thought he was solid. His offense is shaky. He's a little bit shaky with the offense. He's not used to that, but when he gets some confidence, he can score. He can shoot the three, but you're really putting him in there to be a pest. Get the deflections, get the steals. 6'5". I like the bigger guards, like more on the bigger guard wing frame. And a depth play. He can play the point. He's safe at the point. So I like Delon Wright, man. What do you guys think about Delon Wright? I'll let you guys know where I have him on my top five.
Yes, sir.
This was interesting. Some kid, they have these man on the street style content where the interviewer runs up on the person, the celebrity, the athlete, and then starts asking them questions. This was Delon Wright's interview. I don't know what show this kid is with, but this was Delon Wright's interview right here. Here we go.
You played for the Knicks, right?
Yes, sir.
What's your name again?
Delon Wright.
Delon Wright.
Yes, sir.
Can I interview really quickly?
Yeah, of course, of course.
How old were you when you made your first $1 million?
I was 23. I did 4 years of college, so I was a little older.
What made you want to do 4 years of college?
I kind of had to. I got bad grades in high school, so I had to do junior college, and then I did 2 years at University of Utah.
If someone is young watching this video, should they be focusing more on school if they want to become a professional athlete?
Oh, yeah, please. I feel like I missed out on a lot of money because I was an older player when I came into the NBA. Fortunate to make it, but my grades kind of held me back a little bit, and just luckily that I was able to overstand that and make it.
And how old are you today?
I am 33.
33.
I'm up.
33.
So you've been in the NBA for how long now?
10 years. I just
10
finished my
years.
10th year, going into my 11th year.
And so when you were in college playing basketball, were you getting paid through NIL or no?
Nah. We didn't have NIL when I was playing. Luckily, I had a brother in the NBA that was supporting me, sending me some money. So, I didn't need NIL money.
And I don't know if you can answer this again, but what's
Yeah.
the most you made in 1 year playing basketball?
Probably like 8 or 9.
8 or 9 million.
Yeah.
How do you manage your money effectively, making almost 10 million a year?
I had a financial advisor. I had my fun. I splurged a little bit, got a nice car. But besides that, I feel like I'm
Keeping it
not really
real.
a big spender.
What's one thing you tell your younger self when you're getting your first paycheck?
Don't splurge on your first paycheck. Save it. I know you have temptations to buy that nice car, buy a big, nice chain, but I feel like save it first, invest it, and then we get that next one, then you splurge.
And I don't know if you can answer this, but aren't you a free agent this year?
I'm a free agent, yes.
What do you think
yes,
is going to go down?
I don't know, man. I would love to go back to New York, but we'll see what happens. I'm open to going to any team that wants to use my services.
There we go. He's hoping it's back with the Knicks. He don't look 33, does he? He doesn't look 33. Smart guy. Seems to be, have a good head on his shoulders when it comes to managing his finances. Been in the league 10 years. You got to give a guy like that credit. A guy like that who doesn't play a lot. He goes from team to team to team. He's been on several teams. Wizards, the Hawks, the Heat. He's been everywhere. So you got to give a guy like that credit, man. Still a pro's pro. But yeah, he'd be on my list. I'll let y'all know where he's at on my top 5. I think Delon Wright played well last year as a reserve. Yeah, when you think about the rotation the way it is right now, it is pretty much set. I'm not sure the guy, unless it's like a Beasley, I'm not sure the guy that they bring in is really going to just, one, jump into the rotation right away and be as impactful. But you can never have enough depth. You just never know what's going to happen throughout the course of a season. So I would definitely go with that. Okay, salute to everybody in the chat once again. Hit the like button, hit the share button, subscribe to the channel. Going through our list of available options at the last vet minimum spot. Okay, let's see who else we got here in the chat. Say Quizzy in the chat. Says KFTV's back. I've been so bored with no Knicks. Yeah, the dog days of the summer, man. But now we back. We are definitely back. And we are just getting started. Big Daddy G in the chat. G, what's good, man? Shout out to G. A member of the there it is. A member of the champion Knicks Twitter Day tournament. It's Big Daddy G. He's with us, man. He's part of getting us that ring. Our rings should be coming in soon, man. So I'm gonna reach out to you, get your address, and make sure you get your ring, man. Rings should be coming in soon. Okay? All right, so there's Delon Wright. Trilogy did bring up this name when he was on the show just a couple weeks ago, Monte Morris. What do you guys think about Monte Morris? Recently played with the Phoenix Suns. 3-ball fell off a cliff, but he was always a guy that I liked. I really respect Monte Morris's game. He's tough. When he was on his game, he was a good, reliable three-point shooter. He could play defense. But I'm not sure if he's ever recovered from that knee injury. So I'm not so sure. Like I said, his 3-ball kind of fell off a cliff with Phoenix last year. What do you guys think about Monte Morris? Not sure if he's just a name or, he can really still impact the game. Architect says, nah. Okay, all right. You guys be the judge, man. Seth Curry? Anybody? Going to Trilogy, led the NBA in three-point percentage last year, 45%, 2.7 attempts. He shot less than 40 from three only once over his last seven seasons. Seth Curry, anybody? Reliable flamethrower, but that's all he really does. I'm looking for somebody with a little playmaking ability, can move the ball, smart with the ball. Yes, knock down the three, play a little defense, like a little bit of everything. I like Seth, but I'm like, what else are you really bringing outside of the threes? But I guess, okay, in the event of insurance, in the need of for insurance, Not a bad option. Will from LI says yes, absolutely. He can keep calculated. He can keep the bench warm. All right, here we go. Okay, I see the name in the chat. And people have been at me about this from the season ended. They couldn't wait to get my take on this. Big Money Burks. Do we make it a three-peat for Big Money? What do you guys think in the chat, man? Alec Burks with the Heat last year. Shot about 40% from three last year. I believe he was on like 4 attempts. It's Big Money. One thing about Big Money, he's reliable. We know that. We know that he does his job when he's called upon. Go out there and get buckets. Should Big Money Burks get a three-peat with the New York Knicks? And I had good word that he wanted to come back to the Knicks last year. Or that the Knicks were interested, rather, and he chose to go to the Heat. So people have been atting me, man. What do you think? Should we do it? You know, I've been on the no side of the fence for a while. I'm like, let's just let that ship sail, man. You know, we don't need Big Money back. But you know what? As a championship contender, yeah. Let's bring Big Money back, man. Why not? He still got it. Ever reliable. And look, this, as we said, with this spot in the depth chart in the rotation, you're probably not going to get burned off the rip anyway. But as an insurance option, if Clarkson ain't really, if Clarkson's in a little bit of a funk or Deuce ain't really hitting, I would say, all right, yeah, I changed my mind. Go get Big Money for the three-peat depth play. Calculated says we need his 3-point ability, please. Yeah, I mean, look, we can use a flame. And the thing with Big Money, he's smart, 6'5", can move the ball when he wants to, when he's not in cook mode. Free throws. Calculating free throws. I mean, let's take a look at the board. I can't believe y'all talking me back into this, man. I can't believe it. Oh my goodness! Oh man, his free throw draw numbers calculating went off a cliff last year, man. Hang on, let's take a look at this as a family here. Hang on. His shooting foul draw rate with the Heat, a paltry 6%. His regular foul draw rate was pretty good. But in his peak, I mean, look at these numbers right here. This is a bucket getter. Can't check him. In the 90s, shooting foul draw rate. For like 10 years straight. Look at that with the Knicks. Yeah, y'all talked me into it, man. You did. You did. You talked me into it, man. Let's get big money back with the last spot for the championship run. Why not? I'm with it. Now, he's got a couple others here. Does trilogy. Ben Simmons, you guys know I'm off the Ben Simmons wave. I'm good on that. I don't like the non-factor offensively. I don't like the New York factor and bringing them in. I think this is more of a wishful thinking in terms of a reclamation project. I'm good on the Ben Simmons stuff. How are we feeling in the chat? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Rate of Ben Simmons acquisition, 1 being trash, 5 being facts. Carl says, I don't mind Delon. He did a okay job for us. Yeah, I'm with you. I wouldn't mind that. Still better options, but I wouldn't mind that. Okay, here's another guy, and this is the last guy on this list. You guys let me know what you think. Malcolm Brogdon. What do we think about Malcolm Brogdon? He's high on my list for the vet factor, the size. Now, last year's three-pointer fell off a cliff as well. Is that a Washington thing? I don't know. But then the injuries kind of like, the injuries just maybe knock all the positives out the door. What do you think about Brogdon? 1 being trash, 5 being facts. Of the players left, I like him. Because I would like to have a veteran behind Brunson. And somebody who's a bit more capable of running the point. I'm not sure that's what you want from Clarkson. And that's definitely not what you want from Deuce. So that's Brogdon. So if I had to run through, I'll give you my top 5 free agents that the Knicks can target with that last vet minimum contract. Number 5, I'm going to go with Delon Wright. As I said, he's had the experience here. Scrapper defensively. Will jump into the passing lanes. He'll play that aggressive defense that Mike Brown is going to want from his team. He's steady at the point. Doesn't make too many mistakes. Yes, you want him to be a bit more aggressive offensively, but he does the job and never tries to do too much. He's a safe play to bring back. So he's at number 5. Number 4, I'm still going to keep tab on the Malik Beasley situation. If he was more in the clear and the Knicks were able to outbid other teams, I would put him higher up. But because he's still listed as a subject in the investigation, he hasn't been signed yet, and does he go to Detroit where he can make more money? I still put that at number 4, just more in terms of possibility rather than want. Number 3, I'm going to go with big money. Big money, AB, Alec Burks. Y'all talk me into it. A 3-peat tour for Alec Burks. Still averaged 40% from 3 last year with the Miami Heat. Reliable veteran in the locker room. He's played with these guys before. Gets busy at Madison Square Garden. And even though we don't know where to put him with that Deuce and Clarkson hierarchy, you can never have enough depth, especially enough veteran depth. You bring in big money AB for tour number 3 at the Garden. Number 2, I'll go with Malcolm Brogdon. And the only reason he's not number 1 for me is because of the injury. And the fact is, if the Knicks were to make this move and sign this player to the vet minimum contract, they're right up there at the second apron, which means if anything happens to any other player on this roster and they need to make a move, they won't have the money to pay that player unless they make trades. So I'm not so sure if they'll be willing to use that last roster spot on an injury-prone Malcolm Brogdon. But nevertheless, he can help. He can run the point. He's capable of shooting the 3, even though last year was an off year. He can defend, and he's a vet presence in that locker room. So number 1, I'm going with Landry Shamet. Finished the year very well last year in the regular season, and when he got postseason run, he played fairly well. He's a scrapper on the defensive end. He's going to give you energy, and if this is a guy who shot the 3-ball as well as he did to close out the season, another year with this Knicks locker room, with the chemistry that he has with them, I think Landry Shamet at this stage in the game is the no-brainer choice, coming in at number 1. Ben Simmons, no thank you. All right, so Delon Wright, Malik Beasley, Alec Burks, Malcolm Brogdon, Landry Shamet. What do you guys think there, man? What do you guys think in the chat? I'm off the Ben Simmons thing. Just forget that. Salute to everybody in the chat. Let me salute some more franchise channel members. Fave424, Fabian Aramaris says, our need for a backup point is dire. Need Shamet can play D and shoot well in the playoffs. Damn, CP beat me to it. Yeah, it's number 1 on the list, man. Calculating, would you be open to opening up a roster spot with a Kolek trade and getting both Landry and Alec Burks? Yeah, that's the other thing, is that they can open up 2 vet spots. I don't know if that's worth trading potential in Kolek. I don't know if it's worth that for guys who are more shorter term here and may not. One of those 2 guys is not going to get as much burn anyway. Like I said, I think the rotation is pretty much set. The depth chart is pretty much set at the moment. I'd rather them, even though it's hard to predict what Kolek's ceiling is, he's got a lot of work to do. I would much rather them invest in his potential rather than just load up on vets like that. Because at the end of the day, with them not having all their draft picks from the Bridges trade, they'll have it next offseason. I think they need to be invested in the development of their younger players and see maybe they get higher value out of Kolek this year and the next, and maybe he's a better trade candidate later on. Not saying he's an untouchable, but maybe you invest in him a little bit, see what type of success he has, and then try to trade him down the road rather than just, trade him for salary cap purposes. I wouldn't really want to do that. Do I genuinely see Kolek as part of a championship window, a championship rotation? No. I think he's an outside looking in situational type of guy. Stevie Nicks, right? It's great that this is our biggest issue, man. Things have changed, ladies and gentlemen. Look at the conversation that we're having, the embarrassment of riches with the New York Knicks. It's a good time, man. It's a good time. Just hope that these guys remain healthy. And we'll be A-okay. As we kick off the new season, salute to everybody in the chat once again. Hit the like button, hit the share button, subscribe to the channel, and salute to our sponsor, DraftKings. DraftKings is back, ladies and gentlemen, because week 1 of the NFL season is just around the corner, and every touchdown brings you closer to a payout with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. This isn't just NFL, it's first touchdown fireworks, anytime TD rushes, and live bets that ride every momentum shift. At DraftKings, every play is your next shot to win. And some of you guys in the New York tri-state area, obviously, Giants and Jets, man, are going to be kicking off this weekend. I can't wait for the Giants. I'm hyped for the Giants this year. Absolutely. But you got Giants and Commanders. Giants a 5.5-point underdog headed into DC. Now, obviously, you guys know that the lines are subject to change, but as of today, this is where we're at. Jets at home hosting the Steelers. Jets are minus 118 at +3 at home. At home, man. So very interesting to see there. But again, salute to our guys at DraftKings, because new customers get this deal, man. Bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, in addition to that, grab over $200 off an NFL Sunday ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Your season starts now. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code KFTV. And once again, get the $300 in bonus bets instantly when you place your first bet $5 or more. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, remember, fees may apply in Illinois, and 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario, and the bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. So if you get the 300 bonus bets, it's going to expire 7 days after issuance. All right. So see the sportsbook, DraftKings.com/promos, NFL Sunday ticket offer for new subscribers only, and auto renews until canceled. All right. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Restrictions apply. Additional NFL Sunday ticket terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday ticket/terms. Limited offers apply. Okay. All right, what else we got here? So we went through our options at the vet minimum. Let me know what you guys think. You guys can call in on the Discord and let me know what you guys think about that list. All right, what else do we got here? Linsanity called it quits, man. Did you guys see that? Jeremy Lin hanging it up and calling it a career, man. Everybody can remember the impact that Linsanity had on this town for sure. You know, coming out of nowhere in that Nets game. And, you know, the thing about Linsanity was like, especially Nets game, crosstown rival, he's killing Darren Williams. The Laker game, he's going against Kobe. Right? Lakers, one of the best teams in the league. Kobe having his history and his reputation at MSG. It was a perfect cocktail. 38 points against the Lakers. The champs, the Mavericks, come into town. This was J.R. Smith's debut. Puts 28 up on the Mavericks. The St. Valentine's Day Massacre. L-I-N. St. Valentine's Day Massacre, man. And hangs the buzzer beater winner against the Toronto Raptors. I mean, Linsanity was insane, man. Like, I was just trying to, as I was thinking about it, I couldn't remember the last time, or if there was ever a sports hero that had this much type of, like, short-term blockbuster impact. Only person that I could think of, that, and it's not even close to this, was the Tebow effect. Remember when Tebow made it with the Broncos, had the underdog story, the comebacks and the comeback wins and all of that, and now he's Johnny Unitas? The Tebow thing, but like this was different. Because Linsanity, this was a cultural phenomenon. And that's why it's different, man. Like, you know, basketball is a global sport, but I can remember when this was going on, I was down in Atlanta for grad school. And I remember talking about the Knicks with some of my Asian classmates. Like, you know, our grad school, the business school, is a conglomerate. It's a global people. You have people, you transfer students, you have people on assignment, things of that nature, people moving to the U.S. and studying there. So our classroom, you had people from China, from Africa, from all over the place. So, but when Linsanity took off, I'm talking about we went from talking about, you know, mundane business topics to what's going on with Jeremy Lin tonight. Oh, man, did you see him against the Lakers? Did you see this move, that move? So he's bringing cultures together in that short time. And that's why, to me, his story, that story will never be, well, not never be duplicated, because that, you know, it is sports. You just never know. But there was nothing like it. And there's been nothing like it in terms of that short-term mega stardom that he had. And there were comments out there. I think it was the Teague podcast. There was commentary out there that playing in New York had everything to do with it and playing for the Knicks. I think that's right. No question. It's New York. It's Broadway. It's the bright lights. It's the underdog story of making it in New York. Like, all of that came together. And it's the Knicks who, at that time, were searching for success. And yes, they brought in Amari. They brought in Carmelo. But it was still known as like a hodgepodge mix. They brought in BD, Baron Davis. They brought in Mike Bibby. So it was kind of all over the place. And then Lin comes onto the stage and shocks the world. So it was like another layer, unexpected layer to their contender run. It's Lin, you're like, yo, this is crazy. Right now, we're trying to figure out Bibby, Baron Davis, Tony Douglas. Can anybody push the ball and just give it to Melo and get out the way here competently? And then Lin comes on, and you're like, oh, hold up. We got an actual option here. So that was pretty insane. This was, if you guys remember, we made a reel out of this. This was Mike Bibby from the Mike Bibby episode. Who saw the Mike Bibby episode in the chat? Let me know. Leave me a comment in the chat. But this was from the Bibby episode when he talks about the impact of Jeremy Lin. Here we go. You get the Linsanity explosion.
It's crazy because me and Barron were like really the only 2 point guards that were really playing. We went to Oakland. We played the Warriors. Barron was hurt, so I don't think Barron played in that game. I ended up getting hurt that game as well. They were supposed to cut him before we flew back, so they ended up bringing him in. He ended up having crazy. He was killing superstars. You know what I mean? It was the best, like they said, the best was 7 games, that like the top 3 games in NBA history. Like he was killed. Like it was crazy just to see. Like they were trying to fuck him up too. Like it was physical. Like they were roughing him up back there too. And he held his ground. He held his own too. If he wouldn't have got that chance, you know, he probably would have never been able to play. But that just shows you that a guy could play like that and could never get a chance just because of political stuff. And for him to get a chance to play, I mean, it's kind of like angels in the outfield. I always tell everybody it was like angels in the outfield because the way he was playing, the way that it looked so easy, and the way the ball was hitting the rim and going in and hitting the bottom of the rim and spinning up and going in, I was like, and this is going to be a movie one day.
Yeah, shout out to Mike Bibby. Hey, that Mike Bibby episode was good, man. You guys can go back in the archives and check it out. And so that was Mike Bibby talking about it. And when I played that clip on Instagram, people were like, oh, politics. What kind of politics? You know, what was it that prevented Lin from getting that shine? And look, a lot of people, they blame Melo. Melo was horrible to him. He didn't like him. And, you know, Melo was the reason why he left. I think outside of the cultural phenomenon, which was a 1 in a million thing and an incredible story, like Mike Bibby said, it's what movies are made of. And this was happening in real life. After that, there was that one game with the Heat. That was the measuring stick of his run. Because prior to that, he's ripping off 20s, 30s. Like he's all-star status right now in a week. He's killing everybody, like Mike Bibby said. Then, I think some of you guys remember this. It was a litmus test against the world champion, the soon-to-be world champion Heat in Miami. This was where it was like, all right, if this thing is real, show me something against the Heat. And they destroyed him. Yo, they absolutely destroyed him. He went like 1 for 11, had like 9 turnovers. They made him look like the 4th string point guard. And that was when I was like, I don't know. That was a little demoralizing. So then what also hurt him, I think, in the eyes of some, because when we posted this Lin stuff, you know, you had a lot of people, majority of the people was like, yo, yeah, great career, and they were very supportive and very happy and whatnot. But then you had the detractors like, oh, man, why are we celebrating this guy? Yeah. Some people just don't believe, don't buy it, and aren't here for it. I think it's a great story. I thought it was a great story. But I say that to say a couple of things did do him in, just in terms of the league kind of caught up and he kind of lost his luster. That Miami game was kind of the tipping point. And then not playing, choosing to not play. Now, listen, he's a person. He got injured. He chose his health over the playoffs. But I think that left a bad taste in people's mouths. Pause. When you know, he had a slight meniscus tear, and I believe at the time he had an option. He could have played or given it a go and chose not to. And so that kind of soured things with some people. So then, you know, it comes the contract situation, and he's got the contract with Houston. Houston offered a 4-year, $28.8 million deal, then revised it to a 3-year, $25.1 million contract with the poison pill. Remember, the poison pill was for the 3rd year. And according to Lin, he wanted to come back to New York. He told his agent, find a way for Houston to drop the money, drop the deal, or lower the money, lower the years or something, because I want the Knicks to match the deal. And his agent's like, well, listen, man, like, This is the only deal we got right now. Like, you got to take this. And then that's when Dolan got tight. He's like, I'm not doing this. And I remember Carmelo's comment in the papers was like, yeah, we're not tripping over no ridiculous contract. Carmelo says, we're not tripping over no ridiculous contract. And that was that. So, you know, he would go on to the Rockets. And when he left, I remember that offseason when he left, I was like, damn, how we lose Linsanity just like that. Like, for nothing, we let him walk out the door. I was pretty tight in the beginning. But then, once they brought Raphael back, and this is delusional CP talking, once they brought Raphael back, I was all right. I wanted to see Raymond Felton get his second tour and redemption, a shot at redemption here with the team. I was happy that Raphael came back. I was like, all right, we're good. And then they got Jason Kidd. I was like, fantastic, right? And then they picked up Pablo was relatively unknown for most people, but, you know, you trusted his Argentinian instincts and his background playing over there. So, like, all right, he's got to have a high floor. So once they had them at the helm, I was all right. I wasn't really tripping over losing Lin like that. You know, once we got Felton and Kidd, I thought we were good, and they showed it. They won 54 games that next year. So, you know, you have the people that are like, oh, man, they should have never let him go in terms of Lin, and Melo messed it all up. I'm not so sure. Like, how much longevity and success they would have had even if he stayed. He would go on from the Rockets. He went to the Lakers. Remember him and Kobe? Kobe had issues with him. It was talk whether Kobe was going to get involved, get along with him. He went to the Hornets. He went to the Nets. He had a good run, good little stint with the Nets. He goes to the Hawks, and then look, man, he wins a championship with the Raptors to close out the career. This is a guy that was sleeping on somebody's couch, and as Mike Bibby said, they were about to leave him in San Francisco. Gets a storybook, 2 weeks with the Knicks, gets a big contract, a big bag to secure himself and his family, and then wins a chip with the Raptors. I mean, that's a great career. Hats off to him, man. Absolutely hats off to him. My AP number one. You guys hear that ESPN stuff in the background? I got my fantasy football draft tonight. Number 7th pick. Again, I got a against all odds situation once again. You know, they always try to stack the decks up on me. I made it to the championship last year. So, got to work on my strategy after today's show. But how do you guys see the whole Lin situation? What do you guys think, man? Leave me some comments in the chat or after this show. A remarkable career, though, for Jeremy Lin. A remarkable run. A short-term run, but very remarkable nevertheless. Marco, how you doing in the chat? So to Marco. All right, so that was the Linsanity story. Other random news and notes. You have EuroBasket is going on right now. Our guy Yabusele is playing for France. So you got Yabusele going on. I think they're playing Poland right now. Their game just started. So I've been watching some of that. I watched France versus Slovenia over the weekend. Yabusele in France. Luka dropped a triple-double, so that was interesting. The EuroBasket's been pretty interesting. You got Jokic is playing for Serbia. KP's looking all right. Porzingis is looking pretty good with Latvia. You have the Greek Freak and over with Greece. So EuroBasket's been pretty interesting so far. You got Germany. I'm always tapping in with Germany. I always like their team. But France has a little squad. Yabusele's the captain of France. They have Rosas, the number 1 and number 2 pick from last year. Rosas and Alex Sarr. They have the kid Koulibaly, who they're saying Koulibaly's still growing with the Wizards. I think he's going to start turning the corner, especially as a defender. Bilal Koulibaly. Yabusele's playing. Stevie Nicks in the Slovenia game, he got tripped up by foul trouble. They got blown out by Israel in the second half, well, their most recent game, and then they're playing Poland today. I think they're in that second or third place in their group. But it pretty much just started. But overall, I think it's been the competition has been pretty interesting. I've been enjoying EuroBasket. All right, salute to everybody in the chat once again. Hit the like button, hit the share button, subscribe to the channel. CP the franchise in the building. Hope everybody is feeling good. Happy to be back. And Knicks basketball, Knicks preseason basketball, set to kick off in just about a month. We got the football season kicking off this week, starting Thursday. Like I said, I got to get my fantasy basketball, I got my fantasy football team in order, starting tonight. We got the KFTV team draft on Thursday. No, sorry, on Wednesday. So, busy time, man. And so I got to get to football, get through a couple weeks of football season before we get to the Knicks. Okay. How about a little worse take? We'll close the show with a little worse take. All right, we haven't done worse take in a little bit, so let's run it. All right. Once again, salute to everybody in the chat. So we're gonna close the show with a little bit of worst take, and on worst take, we go around the NBA media landscape, whether it's podcasts, it's blogs, hey, maybe even a comment in your group chat, and we react to any take as it relates to the Knicks. 1 being trash, all the way up to 5 being facts on the rating scale. You guys at home be the judge. And this was from Candace Parker's podcast called Post Moves. And this was Blake Griffin on his NBA Finals prediction. Let's take a listen. Here's Blake Griffin on his Finals prediction. Here we go.
East and West, who's meeting in the finals?
I'll give you a hot take. I think Denver got better this summer. Denver took Oklahoma City to 7 games. I think Denver gets to the finals. New York or Cleveland in the East. I'll take New York. Hope else maybe they learn from some mistakes. They make a few tweaks. I do really like Cleveland. It's hard to say not Cleveland because again we kind of do this thing when a team loses before we think they should. We kind of like pick them apart. You lose a series you weren't supposed to lose, and it happens. So I'm not a big believer in like blow it up. They got to find something different. Just stick with it. So I will go with Knicks, Denver, finals.
All right, there you have it. Knicks, Denver, finals. I'm sure Candace Parker did not want to hear that. The number one Knick hater, one of them. But in all seriousness, Knicks, Denver, finals. What do you guys think about that? Rate Blake's take in the chat. 1 being trash, 5 being facts. It'll be interesting. I like his prediction. He didn't hate on us. He put 2 realistic contenders in the finals. So I'll give it a 5. I think that's a good take by Blake. When I look at the East for the Knicks, you don't want to say that they have an easy road, but compared to the West, it's a much more manageable task of getting to the dance. I'll say that very carefully, cautiously optimistic. Knock on wood that these guys stay healthy first and foremost. But I do believe even when they are bringing in this new system with Mike Brown, new offense, new defense, I still think they have a very high floor as a finals contender, as they should be. I think they should be one of the top 2 teams in the East. You give Cleveland their respect, Cleveland being a regular season dominant team. And I think based on the schedule and based on playing in the East, they can replicate that. We'll see what Cleveland's bench looks like when you subtract Ty Jerome, who I thought was impactful for Cleveland, especially during the regular season when you had Mitchell and Garland out with injuries. And at various points, Ty Jerome was very good for them. We'll see with the Lonzo factor, how that plays out for the Cavs. I like the Knicks, man. I like the Knicks. I like another year, as Blake said, with a war wound on their belt, on their body. You know, the sting of losing to the Pacers. They bring in a guy, an intense guy like a Mike Brown, who he's going to be under pressure. Everybody's under the spotlight. Everybody's under the gun this season. Everybody. So I give them a good chance. And I think when they match up with Cleveland, yes, Cleveland wiped the floor with them last season. But number one, as you've seen, as we saw with this Knicks run, you can't take out too much stock in the regular season for a multitude of reasons, right? Cleveland was dominant. They got scrubbed out by the Pacers. Pacers came on from January on. They were the top two best teams in one of the top two best teams in the league. Things change. And when you get to the postseason about who's playing their best and who's healthy, Pacers were that team until they lost Halliburton in Game 7. But I think the Knicks have enough of a squad, enough ballers, and enough force to beat Cleveland in a 7-game series. So I think Blake is right. They got to be healthy. Brunson, Towns, who emerges as the third option? Is it McCall? Does McCall take another level up in Mike Brown's system? How does the bench respond? I saw a stat. Shout out to my guy, Tommy Beer. Last postseason, Knicks bench averaged 15 points per game. You bring in a Clarkson, you bring in a Deuce, you add in a Josh Hart. That's got to improve. And if that does, it makes the Knicks a better team. So we'll see how Brown's system impacts his team, how his rotations impact his team, and if they can get there healthy. If they can get there, look, all respect to the Cavs, all respect to Orlando, all respect to the Hawks and things of that nature. I think the Knicks can get there. And out west, look, I'm with Blake. I've been telling you guys this. I like the Nuggets, man. I like what they did improving their offense in getting Cam Johnson for the Michael Porter Jr. trade. Getting Bruce Brown back, we'll see how that works. They improve their depth. Let's see what a Deron Holmes does. Does he get a little bit more burn in Denver's front court? They got Valanciunas, who's a safe play as a backup to Jokic. We'll see. Obviously, you got to respect the champs, right? You got to respect OKC. And OKC went out there and wiped the floor with them in Game 7. But, Denver, they have Jokic. If playoff Murray emerges with Cam Johnson as a more consistent outside shooter, I give him a chance. Look, when the numbers say that we've had 7 different champions in as many years, I don't think it's hard to expect OKC to be the favorite to repeat. They were very dominant at times, very dominant in the season and in the postseason. They had dominant stretches, but will they have that championship caliber killer instinct when they're now 100% the hunted every night, game in and game out? They have time on their side. They have health on their side. Even though, this is a completely different season. I'm just saying youth and the relative health of guys like a J-Dub and a SGA. They got health on their side. But let's see if they have that championship caliber. Now they're going to get punched in the mouth. Let's see what happens. West is still going to be a dogfight. Yeah, we'll see where Houston is at with KD. Again, he's got to be healthy for them to have any chance. I want to see if their offense, how much improved their offense has been. Gets with him and Sengun with another level up. Amen Thompson, another level up. I want to see Jabari Smith. I want to see what their offense looks like. Because their defense will be there. We'll see what their offense looks like. The Lakers, even though I wouldn't put them right up there, got to respect a team with Luka and LeBron. See what the Lakers look like. I said Houston. Dallas ain't there. Timberwolves. Ant-Man is there. He's getting his troops in order. Ant-Man said, I want everybody in Minnesota all off-season working together. Julius finished the year strong with them. They bring back Naz Reid. Dante's there. They lost Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I thought that was a big loss. But we'll see with them. I don't like to count out the Timberwolves. I like that Timberwolves team. Golden State, not really counting on them to do anything. So, I think it's an accurate prediction if both teams can make it there healthy. I would not sleep on Denver, man. I liked what they did. I really like what they did. What do you guys think on Blake's take? Let me some comments in the chat. Shay Burgess, I see the Knicks finest. Salute to you. Malik Shabazz. Yo, this place is littered with franchise channel members in the chat, man. Will Latimer's in the building. Talento never misses a show. Okay. Salute to you guys, man. Another thing we're going to drop, as I said, make sure you guys are going to KnicksFanTV.com and signing up for the newsletter. Another thing we're going to drop is a digital calendar where basically every game on the schedule is programmed in, and we're going to shoot it out to you like a calendar invite that you would put on like your Apple calendar or your Google calendar. It's just going to be like one of those calendar invites where every game, every night that the Knicks play, you'll get the calendar notification. Inside the notification is going to be a link to Postgame Live. If we're doing a watch party that week, you'll have the link to the watch party. You get a link to the Discord. So everything that you need all in one calendar invite, and it's going to shoot straight to your phone. And especially the people at home that say that sometimes they don't get the YouTube notifications when we're live, that'll be good for you. So once we drop that, we'll drop it this week. We'll leave it out in the community section. We'll leave it out on Discord. We'll shoot it out to our newsletter, our email list as well, so that you guys have all of that. Okay? Oh, what else happened? Oh, yeah. Did you guys see this? I did post this on the channel. Dawn Staley broke her silence about the Knicks job. Did you guys see that? Dawn Staley broke her silence about interviewing with the Knicks. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. Salute to everybody in the chat. Hit the like button, hit the share button, and subscribe to the channel. Yeah, this was Dawn Staley again on the Post Moves podcast. Thank you, Candace Parker, for the content here. This was Dawn Staley on reacting to the interview. Let me just make sure I can get it up here for you guys. Okay, here we go.
So would you ever seriously take an NBA job?
Would I seriously? Like I interviewed for the Knicks. I did. It was the same interview that everybody else that was in their candidate pool. Same thing. Went in. I mean, it was like hours but in the interview. I thought I did pretty well. I was well prepared for the interview, right? If the Knicks would have offered me the job, I would have had to do it, okay? Not just for me, it's for women, for just to break open that I would have to, and it's the New York Knicks. And I'm from Philly, but it's the freaking New York Knicks. And I did say that in the interview. Like,
it's the freaking New York Knicks. Yeah, that's right. That was Coach Staley there, breaking her silence. All right? Remember, you guys heard it here first on Knicks Fan TV. That's right. That's right. We did. We did let you guys know that the Knicks did meet with Dawn Staley. And like most of the things that we drop, we get insulted. Who's this guy? Danny Knicks. Yo, CP, come on. Clickbait is nuts. Clickbait is nuts, dude. Look at that. 17 likes. Look at this guy. Why hasn't anyone else reported on Dawn Staley except you? This is how people are programmed in the Matrix. Remember that? We get insults. We just the conductor. I'm just a conductor here. I'm just a messenger. And they insult us. Well, the coach went out there and cleared the air for you guys, okay? She said she would have taken it. I thought it was interesting, in hearing it and reacting to it. I thought it would have been interesting. I didn't mind. A lot of people were losing it. Oh, my God, the Dawn Staley's going to be Eddie. A lot of people were losing it. I didn't really care. I didn't really mind that they interviewed Dawn Staley. I thought it would have been interesting. Would this have been the pressure cooker situation that you would want to hire somebody like that in? You can argue. You can make the argument for or against. I wouldn't have came out against it. Like, I trust Leon. I trust Wes. I trust him. I'm going to have to trust him with this Mike Brown situation. If they would have came to us, they would have came to James Dolan and said, hey, man, you know, this is our coach, Dawn Staley. I would have went with it. I would have went with it until they show that we can't go with it no more. It's like everything else. I've given everything else the benefit of the doubt until we have reason not to. Stevie Nicks says a story would have taken away from the team. Okay, I agree. I think it could have. Because we're just not in a position right now in society where women coaching men's professional sports is prevalent. Until it becomes prevalent, it will be a story. Who's gonna shatter that ceiling? A lot of people thought Becky Hammond had an inside track on a Spurs job, and she went to Vegas. Oh, interesting. So, you know, that was the word from Dawn Staley, breaking the silence, as it was reported here by KnicksFanTV many months ago. So thank you, Coach. Thank you, Aaliyah Boston and Candace Parker. The Rhyme Animal, Chuck D, is in the building. Salute to you, Chuck, man. Good to see you in the chat, man. We are ramping up. And speaking of ramping up, Pac-Man Pacome Dadier is in the gym. I got to tell y'all something, man. I'm like, you know, I'm itching to start up the Dadier hive, man. I really am. I really am. I think this kid has potential. I'm not just going to let the workout videos hype me up. But I think this kid really has potential, man. If he's out there and he's playing with a better supporting cast, we'll let him get into this thing slowly, man. Knock down a couple of corner jumpers. Play your passing lanes, you know, fill the lanes. And play some defense. Give us some heart. Give us some hustle. You know, Dadier, like, you don't got to do too much right now. Just give us a little bit of promise in this season. That would be spectacular. I'm ready to push the button. I don't know. I don't know how. No, is he going to get playing time? I don't know where it's going to come. But hey, let's start with training camp. And maybe it's a preseason. Maybe they decide to, you know, rest a couple of guys. Maybe OG gets extended rest in the preseason and Dadier gets a little bit of a look. Show them something, Dadier. Yeah. I'm ready to push the button on the Dadier hive, man. What else we got here? It was Captain's birthday. It was JB's birthday a couple days ago. Mikal Bridges' birthday last week. So both of those guys were celebrating. Trying to see what else we missed. That's about it. Dink Pate. His pops hit me up on the gram. Dink Pate. He said he's getting a training camp invite. So Dink Pate will be headed to training camp. Will he get one of the two ways? Let's see what happens there. Jude, are we coming to Orlando? It's in the cards. We are working on it. We're working on all the travel plans right now. Miami's going to be the first stop, which will be October 26th. Miami's going to be the first stop. And then, okay, thank you. This is my cleaning ladies. Miami's going to be the first stop. Then we'll figure out Orlando. We figure out the rest. But yeah, Miami's going to be first. Will Latimer says our bench will surprise a lot of people this year. Yeah, I'm hoping so, man. I'm hoping so. Well, so we got to take a couple more. Dadier reminds me of Kevin Knox. Hopefully he can show more than Knox did. Yeah, well, I mean, he's still young. And even though Knox is still very young. You know, Kev just never really made it. Yeah, I know some of y'all in the chat like, what's CP got going on in his crib? I had to explain quickly. Yeah, my lady knows. My lady knows what's going on in here. Oh my God. I had to explain myself. But yeah, man. Anyway, let me get out of here, man. We're gonna do some cool content this week. We're gonna do our local football / Knicks mashup. We got Alex and Jake Asman coming up this week. We're gonna get our guy John Smelk on here to talk from the Giants' perspective. So yeah, man, gonna be an action-packed week, but I'm happy to be back. Glad to see everybody in the chat. Salute to my franchise channel members once again. Salute to the Rhyme Animal, Chuck D. Absolutely. Zach says come back to the March back-to-back in LA. Yeah, we got to get to LA, man. We got to get to the left coast. Absolutely, man. So tap in. Good to see you guys again. Remember that the show's available in audio podcast format. Like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you guys tomorrow, man. Peace.